A plane crashes in the frozen Andes. Noa Adler, a glaciologist, survives. But survival is just the beginning. With a brutal storm closing in and no rescue in sight, she and Olivia must descend the mountain before the cold claims them. Every step is a battle. Every choice means life or death. The Cessna 208 Caravan lurched violently, its frame groaning under the relentless turbulence. Noa Adler gripped the armrest, her knuckles white as she watched the jagged peaks of the Andes rush closer. The pilot's voice crackled over the headset, strained but controlled. Losing altitude, brace for impact. A sickening jolt, then chaos. The world shattered in a cacophony of metal and snow. Noa was thrown forward as the plane slammed into the mountainside, tearing through ice and rock. For a moment there was only silence. Then the wind's hollow scream. She awoke to the sharp sting of cold biting into her skin. Blood blurred her vision. Dazed, she unbuckled her harness, her body protesting with every movement. The fuselage lay in ruin around her, its metal skeleton jutting out from the snow like broken ribs. A few feet away, the pilot's body was crumpled in his seat, lifeless. The smell of fuel clung to the air. Noa, a weak voice rasped. She turned to find Daniel, his face pale beneath a mask of blood, clutching his side. Beside him, Olivia groaned, trying to push herself upright. The others... Noa's stomach clenched as she scanned the wreckage. Samuel, Ethan, and Dr. Rivera lay motionless, half buried in snow. She didn't need to check for signs of life. They were gone! Olivia coughed, wincing. Where are we? Noa swallowed hard. Alive, for now. Daniel groaned as he tried to sit up, his breath shallow. Noa knelt beside him, peeling back his jacket. Blood seeped through his sweater, pooling at his side. Internal bleeding. Bad. We have to move, she said, shivering. The sun was already sinking, and the temperature would soon plummet. If they stayed put, they'd freeze before rescue ever came. If it came at all? The wind howled through the wreckage, carrying the bitter scent of snow and fuel. Noa pulled her coat tighter, her fingers already numb. They had to leave before the cold claimed them, but Daniel's breathing was growing weaker. We can't move him far, Olivia said, crouching beside him. Her own wounds were minor. Cuts, bruises, a twisted ankle. But her face was tight with exhaustion. Noa hesitated. If they left Daniel, he would die alone. If they stayed too long, they all would. We need shelter, she said. There might be a crevasse or a rock overhang nearby, anything to block the wind. Olivia nodded, then winced as she adjusted her foot. Noa scanned the horizon. Endless white, stretching toward jagged peaks in the distance. No sign of help, no easy paths down. With a deep breath, she turned back to Daniel. I'll find a place, she promised. Stay with him! She trudged into the snow, each step a battle against exhaustion. The altitude pressed against her lungs, the cold gnawed at her exposed skin. But she had no choice. Survival meant moving forward, no matter how impossible it seemed. Noa found shelter beneath a rocky outcrop, half buried in snow. It wasn't much, but it would keep the worst of the wind at bay. She hurried back to Olivia and Daniel, her body trembling from exertion. By the time they dragged Daniel to cover, his skin was deathly pale, his breath shallow. Noa pressed her fingers to his wrist. Weak, too weak. She met Olivia's eyes, the unspoken truth hanging between them. We have to keep him warm, Olivia murmured, but the desperation in her voice said she knew it was futile. That night, the temperature plummeted. Noa lay beside Daniel, trying to share what little warmth she had. Olivia did the same, her body shuddering. But when morning came, Daniel was still, his lips tinged blue, his chest unmoving. Noa closed his eyes with trembling fingers. Olivia turned away, a silent tear freezing on her cheek. We can't stay, Noa whispered. If we don't start moving, we're next. They took what little supplies they had: a broken compass, a few protein bars, and a crude walking stick fashioned from the wreckage. Noa pointed toward the valley below. "We head down," she said. "Find a way off this mountain." They started walking, the wind howling at their backs. Each step was agony. The wind cut like knives, and exhaustion pressed on Noa's shoulders like lead. Olivia stumbled beside her, her pace slowing. "We have to keep moving," Noa urged, voice hoarse from the cold. The snow gave way beneath Olivia's foot, sending her sprawling. Noa hauled her up, her own legs trembling. The valley loomed ahead, but so did a sheer drop, a final barrier between them and lower ground. Noa studied the icy cliff. "We climb down," she said, more to convince herself than Olivia. Using their walking sticks and sheer will, they descended. Noa's fingers burned against the ice, her breath ragged. A misstep could send them tumbling, but stopping meant freezing. Finally, they reached the base. Noa collapsed onto the snow, her body racked with shivers. In the distance, a sound, distant, but unmistakable. A helicopter. She forced herself up, waving weakly as dark figures moved toward them. They were safe.